Hello, welcome back to engine teardown of the 1984 Honda Nighthawk CB700SC. We got the carburetor off and we got the valve cover off. So now we're going to take off the top end. 10 millimeter on a 1/4 inch ratchet. We're going to be loosening the bolts for the oil pipe that goes across. These are longer bolts, and there's two shorter bolts behind it for the chain guard. So same on both sides, oil pipes and chain guard bolts. So let's get those taken off. So I keep these bolts all together. I'm going to put them on the table in the bin. So I have all the valve assembly, top end bolts together. That way I'm not losing track of anything. That way I can inspect them, make sure nothing is bad. And all these are, just hand tight. Well, they're 11 to 15 foot-pounds, so easily removable with a 1/4 inch ratchet. That we're not risking snapping any bolts on a 38-year-old engine. There we go. Okay, so we got the shorter bolts in the front for the oil pipe. We got the longer bolts in the back for the chain guard. So definitely can tell those apart. There we go. So we can definitely tell. So if you forget what order it is between the oil pipe and the chain guard, the oil pipe bracket for the back will not sit flush. It leaves the gap for that chain guard. So that way chain guard's on the bottom. It lowers it. The chain has probably no clear, like very, very, very minimum clearance between that chain guard and the chain. So let me go put these on the table. There we go. I'll go to the other side. We will take off these bolts on this side. If you have a smaller, power drill or air compressor with the right angle, this will make short work of this, but I'm okay doing it with a 1/4 inch ratchet because that way I know how we can feel it. It makes a little bit of difference. So I do not want to snap any bolts in the engine. I've already gotten the engine set to timing, so that way I can show you how to loosen both of the bolts on the cam sprockets. You do have to rotate the engine to get other ones out. There we go. There we go. So we have the guard, oil pipe. So the guard has a piece. You just want to check this, make sure that there's no scoring or any kind of debris if your chain snapped or whatever you're replacing it for. So yeah, looks pretty good. I'm okay with that. Put those away in the slot. So now we can look at the chain. Make sure it's all good. There's a little bit slack because I backed it off. You're going to use a 17 millimeter open end wrench here. You're going to turn this one counterclockwise. So you can see where timing's at. So I have it moved. There's no budge. If I put it right in the middle, create a little bit of budge. So on the intake, you're going to see an IN with a line that lines up right with the level of the valve cover, of the valve assembly. And same for the exhaust side. The little EX right here, and it lines up with that. So that's how you know top dead center. You're also going to look on the other side. There's a T and an F. You're going to put it right in the middle of it. There's a little protrusion on the side, and that's where that's the timing mark cover, well, timing mark indicator. So now that we have the guides off, we can go ahead, set the tensioner, or release the tensioner. This is a little bit trickier to do. Put that right back in the middle, relieve the tension. Right there. Let's see if we can get this. Almost. Get a lot of oil on it, so it's not wanting to cooperate. But I just pick up on the back end of it, that screwdriver, and you just push it down. There we go. Okay, you push it down, you can kind of see that. I don't have the phone or the hands, but it's level. The little lip of the tensioner is holding that. So now we can move the chain. Oh, just going to take it back up. There we go. So it helps you can do that too. Because I did that with just one hand. So show that again. All right, so we reset it. A lot faster than I actually haven't done it that way, so surprise me. Hold it up. Bada boom. Nice. Okay, because the manual says to use a screwdriver and push it down. So that worked out. Okay, so now that we're back to here, we can loose off the camshaft covers. Same thing, 10mm, 1/4" ratchet. I'm going to loosen these in a crisscross pattern. That way you're not risking warping any of them. So just lightly loosen them, that way they're loose. Okay? Because we still have to get the bolts off of the camshaft. We don't want to have to fight those with, if you take these off all the way, you won't be able to turn the cams well enough or safely enough for them to loosen the bolts. So we're just going to use an open end just to see if we can reach in there. We can't. So we're going to use 10mm, some extensions. Line up. Can't get that one. Get the front one, okay. There we go. Now these are shorter bolts, so you do not want to drop these in there because they will go to the bottom. So I will put a magnet right into that. That way we can loosen it and safely pull it out. So there we go. That's one. 3 more to go. So we will loosen them bit. Just resetting this. That's fine. We will redo that in a minute. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, that's 2. You have to go rotate it. Front. Okay. Because I have the starter off, I can turn it both directions because it's only the chain's only going to the alternator, the crankshaft, and up to here. So pump plugs are removed, so there's not going to build compression. So I can slowly turn it both directions. There we go. I'll leave this one. There we go. That is 3. Let's see if we can get. Go. There we go. Now we can pull the chain a little bit. Remove the sprocket. There we go. Chain has been pulled off. Cool. Okay. So now we can go back to continuing with taking off the cam holders. Now that the chain has been removed. This is a bit of a longer process as there are 16 bolts holding these cam holders on. So feel free to fast forward through this part. We're just going to remove this, each of those. Once these are removed, we can slide out the cams with the cam sprocket attached, and we will resume for getting the cylinder head off. All right, stay tuned.